Welcome to Lesson 5. In this lesson, we are going to talk about qualitative data. And qualitative data is simply categories. And what we're going to be interested in is the proportion of the data that falls into each category. So this is non-numerical data because it involves categories. So let's look at an example. What we have here are the adverse reactions of a particular brand of medication. So the categories are the different adverse reactions. For example, we have nausea, diarrhea, dry mouth, constipation, vomiting, flatulence, dizziness, and pruritus, which is just itching. So these are the categories. And what we have then are the frequencies of occurrence for each of these categories. So FRQ stands for frequency. So 182 of the reactions looked at were categorized as nausea, 49 of the reactions were categorized as diarrhea, and so on. We can get a total here, a sum of the frequencies, by simply doing an Autosum on the frequency column. So I will go to Formulas, Autosum, and when I hit Enter, we get a total frequency of 427. So that is our sample size. So the total is the same as the sample size. Now we're going to summarize this data by first using some graphs. So the first graph we're going to look at is a pie chart. So to make a pie chart using Excel 2010, as I am using here, what I'm going to do is highlight the entire table excluding the total column. So I'm going to highlight the entire table excluding the total row down here. And once that is highlighted, I'm going to go to Insert Pie. So we're going to insert a pie chart. And I'm just going to pick a regular 2D pie chart. Click on it. And immediately we get this nice graph. I'm going to make it a little smaller so that we can see it better. So when I get my arrow down here in the corner, so it's a double white, see how it's kind of clear, double white arrow, click and drag it and it'll keep the perspective. Alright, so this is the default pie chart where the different colors correspond to the different categories. Looks like I'm missing a few categories, probably because I made it too small, so here I can stretch it vertically, see, and the rest of the categories will show up on this legend here. I'm going to click into the title here, frequency, and I'm going to rename it adverse reaction. Now I'm typing in adverse reaction and you can see what I've typed in shows up here, but it won't show here until I hit enter. And then we see it show up here, adverse reaction. Now there are different layouts for these pie charts that you can see up here in these layouts. And my personal favorite's the first one, because the first one will actually put the percentages and the categories right by the pie slices. Let me make it a little bigger. There we go. So pruritus 3%, dizziness 10%, flatulence 5%, vomiting 8%, and so on. Okay, so this is my personal favorite chart. If I made it a little bit bigger, all right, then you can see it'll even put the categories and percentages right inside those pie slices. So that is the pie chart. So let me set that aside now. I am going to click in an empty cell so that I can clear out the highlight, because I want to make a new chart, and so I need to start fresh. So this time I am going to make a bar chart. A bar chart is very similar to a histogram, a probability histogram like we'd seen earlier, but there will be spaces between the bars, and the bar chart can be horizontal as well as vertical. Let's first make a vertical bar chart, which looks a lot like a histogram. So always begin by highlighting the entire table excluding the row total. Go to Insert. We're going to insert a chart, but this time we'll do a column chart, which is the same chart we did for the probability histograms. When I click on column, I'm actually going to do a 3D this time. I always click on the first choice though. And here is a column chart. Again, frequencies are in the legend. The height gives us our frequency. Down here we have the different categories. I'm going to change the title to adverse reaction again. Notice how it gets typed up here and doesn't enter this space until I actually hit enter. Alright. And this then is a perfectly fine vertical bar chart. Perfectly fine vertical bar chart. Let's do it again, but this time let's do a horizontal bar chart. So we can have vertical bar charts, we can also have horizontal bar charts. So let's do a bar chart horizontal. So again, I'll click out, click, highlight my table, insert, and this time the chart is actually called a bar chart. So the bar charts are the horizontal bar charts in Excel. I'll just do a 2D this time. And here is the horizontal bar chart. Alright, and then we can see all the categories there. Let me close this out, see it better. Again, change this name to adverse reaction, enter. Alright, and then here is our horizontal bar chart, where the frequencies are labeled on the horizontal axis, and this time the vertical axis has the categories, which are easy to read because they're written right here in normal horizontal fashion. Alright, now there is one other kind of chart that I see commonly in the business statistics books, and that's called a frequency polygon. A frequency polygon. A frequency polygon is going to look similar to our vertical bar chart, but instead of the height of a bar denoting frequency, there will simply be a point at the frequency, and then each of the points will be connected by lines. So the frequency polygon for this graph is going to look like point, line, point, line, point, line, point, line, point, line, point, line, point. So let's go ahead and build one. So I will again click out, click in, highlight the entire chart, sans row, total row, and then go to insert. This time we do a line graph. So the frequency polygon is constructed using a line chart in Excel. And if you want your points to show, go ahead and click on this icon here that shows the points connected by lines. And there it is. And see how we have that high frequency line, low frequency, and it follows that pattern that I showed you earlier on our horizontal bar chart. Okay, if I could find that one again. Oh, it's hidden behind. So remember, frequency, line, point, line, point, line, point, and that's exactly what we got going on here in this frequency table. Alright, so those are the primary graphs for displaying qualitative data. Qualitative data. The pie chart, the bar chart vertically oriented, the bar chart horizontally oriented, and the frequency polygon.